Hello, hello. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really good. I'm hoping not to yawn too much
Oh,
during this, because I've been awake since very early this morning. But so have you. But I guess it's not
not
as
quite
far
as
through the
early.
day for you either, is it? It
True.
probably really is my bedtime, statistically speaking.
Ah, and my
So
days is
talking of that,
different.
actually, it's a good, I feel like I'm segueing like some very clever radio show now. Because my word that I would love us to explore today is balance.
Mm,
So, what are your thoughts
mm.
about balance?
Yeah. Well, really, the first thing that comes to mind is that we're always in balance.
Mm.
Even when we're tipped over lying on the floor, we're in balance. So the first things that come to mind is that we make a lot of to do
Mm.
about balance. I hear a lot of work-life balance and eating in balance and relationship balance and what do you call it when there's like power balance, like and it's just like we're always in balance. We're always, you know, we're way more resilient, but it seems that there's words or a vision that we get in our mind, really innocently conditioned, and maybe not so innocently conditioned as well by society about what we should be striving for.
Mm.
And it just creates a lot more stress in the mind, in the body, when we're looking out there and seeing things through the filters of some made up idea of what the perfect balance is. So I see really that balance is not how it looks out there at all. That someone looking in could see, even if we looked in, we could think that this is very sideways, this is very off balance. But the real checker for balance is, well, what does it feel like? Because there are times when on the outside, it might look like things are really sideways, but inside, it's just like, this is perfect. What came to mind just now is what I've noticed with Rob and I, my husband, over the years, is that when one of us is kind of getting all worked up in our minds, it's so interesting because the other seems to immediately get grounded. So there's always this balance. We're always balancing each other. And I kind of see that that's sort of natural. I mean, in our human world, we're a world of contrast. You know, the opposites rise together. So they're just flip sides, or if you want to see it on a stick, it's just like there's one contrast on the right side, and on the left side is the complete opposite, and then there's all the in between. It's like it's always rising together in some way. And the sense of where you get of, if it is a helpful balance for you, you're going to sense that from the inside, not in how it looks and not how anyone else says it should be. Yeah, that's how that's being kicked off. What do you see
Mm.
around balance?
Well, totally agree with everything you said. And then think about how it is seen. Like
Mm,
you said earlier on, it's spoken about, isn't it? Like it's work-life balance. I even heard somebody say, put life first. It's life work balance. Why do we say like, you know, manipulating all of that language when it's still like you said, something that's not, it's how we feel about it, isn't it? But I wonder how many people feel just out of balance a lot of the time, or just don't feel okay and feel like they are perhaps working more hours than is maybe healthy for them, and their families and relationships and everything outside of work. And that from that place of seeing, because I think people will then maybe have some awareness that they're out of balance, in inverted commas, because they don't feel okay, because they feel terrible, and they're starting to notice that they're getting poorly, or they're not sleeping well, and they're stressed, and then when we look into the world to try and find something to help with that, what we know to be most helpful is connection to presence, to ourselves, to our bodies, to listening to that. But what is presented is something very different to that, something very rigid. I see a lot, you know, that it's like for me, when I was post burnout trying to find this elusive balance thing, it seemed to involve a lot of things being scheduled very tightly and my boundaries being very rigid, and it all being very controlled, really, in order to ensure this thing, you know, I will not work after so many hours, I will not, or after a certain time, I will not work at the weekends, I will, you know, like making it really, really kind of strict, I suppose.
Yeah.
And a few days ago, I had a conversation with a client who spoke about whether she should take a laptop with her for a weekend away. And I said, well, what do you want to do about that? You know, there's so many messages out that you shouldn't take your laptop on holiday with you. That's wrong. It's not the right thing to do. And I kind of said, well, sometimes on a Sunday morning, I wake up earlier than my other half, who can sleep for Britain. And I'm just inspired to write something, to create something, to consider something in my business. And I'll get my laptop out and I'll sit in bed. Apparently you're not supposed to do that either, are you? And I'll work sat in bed. And I will just do something that I'm inclined to do. And sometimes on a Monday afternoon, on the official working day, I'll have a nap or go for a walk or sit and watch Glee with my daughter because she happens to be home. I have sat and watched an episode of Glee today, I have to tell you, because my daughter's home from uni and I want to spend some time with her, and we like to watch Glee together. We'll be watching it when we're both in our, well, I'll be in my 90s by the time we finish. So many episodes, but it's something that I've just done today because I want to just be with her. And I think that's because I just thought, well, there are things I could do, and she's sat in the lounge, so I'm going to go sit with her. It's balance is being sold to us, I think, as rigidity, but in actual fact, it's presence.
Yeah,
it's not rigidity. And I think, like, you know, you and I both run our own businesses. We talk to a lot of people who do the same, and surely we're creating a business so that we can do that. Flexible, go with our body and what it's saying to us, and create balance that way from the present moment, rather than, we might as well be in a job if we're going to make our lives so rigid.
Yeah, when you said rigidity, the word that came up was fluidity. Yeah. It's a practice, hey? It's really the only way I see to sort of get a sense of what it feels like to live fluidly, to live intuitively, or in flow, or guided, or, whatever you want to call it. The only way is to like test it out. What would it be like to get up in the day and just pause and pose the question in your head out, to just what's wanting to be done? And maybe it's like, go sit down and have a cup of tea. Maybe it's go here and write that email. It's like, well, that wasn't on the schedule. I'm doing that tomorrow or whatever. It's like, what if you just allowed the universe to guide you, or your inner wisdom, whatever you want to call it, that energy that lives through you, and allow it to just guide you throughout your day. Balance is in that. There is a feeling in that. And I'm not stellar at this, right?
No.
There's, but I have experienced it where it's like, it feels like flowing. And what I found is that things that, even if it's like, no, that's not supposed to happen today, if it feels like, but it feels like I'm in the right energy for that, it just goes so smoothly. It just happens so easily. And other things seem to come in to support or help it. It's just when we talk about living effortlessly, and it's not only, to me, it's not only because it's like you and me as individuals allowing this to flow through. It's like the energy that we all come from is contributing and becoming like a collaborator. It's like, right, we can all join in and help make this easier. So you'll see this, this assistance, or this coming in from other unexpected places. It's quite magical, really. And it's just like, hey, so-and-so showed up and helped me move that big thing, which I was gonna, just all these little things that we can tend to sort of dismiss and call them, oh, that was lucky, or whatever we might call it. And really, I think it's just allowing ourselves to be moved. And that creates our balance.
What do you think gets in the way of that?
Fear. Self-imposed deadlines, self-imposed shoulds, that I should get this done. I think we create a lot of false, like you were talking about your calendar, like boxing yourself in. So it's like what just came up is that we're not trusting ourselves. We're not trusting that we can just follow this and things will work out. It's like, no. I need to force myself to do this at this time in this way with these rules. I think there's a lot of fear of failure, of not getting it done, of doing it right, maybe seeing how something worked for someone else and thinking that that's the way to do it. I've been privy to the insides of the minds of some people who have seemed to have great success, that things have worked out. And then I found out the behind the scenes. Oh my gosh, they're totally stressed out. They're burnt out. Yeah. What do you see as getting in the way of that fluid, living, natural balance?
Well, thought. like I think what I see a lot is that, like you say, there is this inner guidance system that's letting us know. And thought in many guises gets in the way. So just the general too much noise in our heads stops us from really being able to listen to what's present now, because our time traveling brain is off doing what brains do, which is zipping between the past and the future. They're not really bothering much with the present moment. I think what I see a lot when people get quite stuck is that the wisdom says go and thinking says, oh, you can't do that. No, no, you can't do that. And the same with creating, like, if my body is saying, have a nap, and I'm like, oh, but I've got to get this finished, I've got to do that. Like, I'm going to keep ignoring that voice that's saying, you're really tired, Claire, and you're not really functioning very well, so you might as well go for a lie down, or it's a beautiful day and you've been sat on your backside to the point where it's nearly numb, go for a walk. I am quite capable of squashing that down and staying here, sat in front of my computer, because I just want to get this next thing finished. So I think the guidance is there all the time, but the story of what it should, like you use the word should really beautifully there, that word, yes, I've been won that word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me Bob. That gets in the way, because I should be sat here. And I think one of what's just coming to mind now as well, because I really saw this, I didn't see it while I was burning out or for quite some time afterwards, to be fair, but I do see it now, that it's what are the drivers to not follow that wisdom when it comes to, let's call it balance, well-being, whatever. The drivers are often, well, when I get to X, I will feel Y. So I must work really hard, get my head down, ignore my entire body, which is screaming at me and going, you have to stop now, go to bed, go to sleep, go for a walk, whatever, eat, drink, go to the toilet. We're kind of plowing through that because there's this sense of, well, if I just get to this point, I'll feel better, and then I'll be able to stop, slow down, take care of myself, talk to my children, whatever else it is. And I see that a lot with my clients. They're staying up really late doing things, not at all listening to their wisdom, where their body is crying out for sleep, because the sense is, well, I must get here. I must get to, when I get to here, I'll feel less stressed because this thing that I've got on will be out of the way. And then I can stop and look after myself. And of course, that point doesn't come, because once A is out of the way, then B goes, oh, well, it's time to focus on me now. Let's get ahead on B now. And then they go, right, let's get ahead on B. Yeah. And then they go for B. And then, of course, C pops up, and they just keep going with this sense that there is even a thing called getting ahead.
Yes.
Ahead of what? Who's in the race behind it? Who's coming? What are we trying to get ahead of? Time? The universe? I mean, what, we trying to hide from death? I mean, what are we actually doing, like, with that getting ahead thing? And I absolutely can remember, and probably still do it now a bit, but when I was a head teacher, that was a corker for me. Like, if I just get this news that I finished a week before it's actually due to be finished, then I'll feel a bit better. I'll feel like there's one less thing, one less thing that's seems to be overwhelming me. So I think that's like underneath all of this, or wrapped around all this, is well, what's even driving people to ignore a screaming body that's going, actually physically. Like, if you talk about physically, your body is your physiology is starting to tell you that you are not looking after your body properly. And yet that gets ignored.
Claire, I saw this so clearly in the words, and you never said this word, but me too. I can't remember when I've not tried to do all of these things ahead of time so I could get ahead of the game, so I could rest on the other side of it, so there would be less to do on the other side. And you're right, there never is. But what I heard when you shared that was, oh my gosh, we're putting off freedom. What we're really striving for is a sense of freedom and space. Yet instead of just going for the nap, that would be freedom. That would be allowing yourself space. So instead, it's like we keep putting off, like we need to earn it. Like we need to get all these things in before we can feel free, before we can rest, before we can have that space. I never quite saw it in that way. Because truly, I mean, that's what we are. We are freedom. The energy, it is totally free and fluid. It is always what we're always striving to get home. If you want to talk about striving. And it feels like striving because we keep going out there and trying to do all these things so we can finally feel that peace, feel that rest, that space. When really it's just like it was available right here, right now. Right before all of that.
But isn't that's just fitting so perfectly with the societal model, isn't it? There's we're always on to the next thing, aren't we? Like, you get 18 out of 20 in your spelling test, and some well-meaning parent says, where's the other 2? And so like that's you've got to get to there, and then you've got to get to finish high school with the right grades and stuff, and then there's university, and then there's getting the job and the 2.4 children, and it fits into that same model, doesn't it? That there's always somewhere to get to before freedom will. I think that's what society seems to be saying to people: keep going until you get, and you'll reach this point, and this beam of light will come down from heaven and touch you on the head, and then you'll feel free. And of course, because it isn't the outside world that makes us feel anything, and then we never get there, whether that's a finished task on a list or owning £1 million house. It doesn't really matter. Neither of those things can make us feel anything, so we're gonna always just keep going, aren't we, and missing that innate freedom that's there already.
So good.
Feel like we've come to a close. Do you?
I feel kind of balanced here, Claire.
Marvelous. Let's hope the lovely listeners do too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'll see you and
Nice
hear
to be
you
here
next time. And to you, the listeners too. We'll see you here. You'll hear us next time. We won't see you, because that's not how it works.
Although we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too, Michaela.
Thanks,
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.